Hmm?
No.
Okay. So today, as I've told you, are you people ready with your Total English book? All of you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Today, as I've told you, we will just discuss about the composition, the writing part, the letter, and also the comprehension passage. Okay. So because what I've understood is that you people don't have any idea about how to write a composition. That is what I have seen in last exam and the last year's previous exams which you had attended before. Okay. So you don't have any idea. Simply you are getting a topic, you are writing whatever bluff and filling up the pages with unwanted stuff. So that is not what you have to write when you are presenting a well-planned essay. So this year onwards means you are preparing for your board exam. Okay, so based on the board exam pattern, you will have your question paper. So in that, you will have a number of types of essays will be the almost 4 to 5 types of essays will be there, and you should know how to present each and every essay in a well arranged and well planned manner. Okay, so that we will see today, and also the comprehension passage, not like
Yes.
last year what you have done simply just copying out from what is there in the passage. It is entirely different from that. Okay, so that also we'll see today. Okay, so first of all, let me tell you, please note that first question in your question paper will be write a composition on any one of the following. That will be the first question in your question paper, right? Okay, so in that, actually for the board exam, you have to write
Yes, ma'am.
300 to 350 words. But as of now, you need not write that much lengthy essay. Okay, as you have just started writing these lengthy essays, you need not write 300 to 350 words, but at least 1.5 sides. Okay, that means 300 to 350 words means it is almost equal to 2.5 to 3 sides you have to write. Okay, so at least 1.5 sides you should know to write an essay now. Okay, that is what I have told you. And please don't ever, you have a number of specimens in your Art of Effective Writing essay textbook. And in that book, whatever essays are given, please don't copy into exactly the same what is written there. Okay, you have to get the core points from that essay and present it in your own words. See, a copied essay can be easily identified by the examiner. Okay, so if you are just taking whatever it is and by hearting the essay and presenting it, it can be easily identified by any of the examiners. So please don't even try to do that. You have to present the essay in your own words. Points, of course, you can get it from your essay book, and those points you have to present in your own way, in a simple language. But grammatically, there should not be any kind of grammatical mistakes you are making. So those grammatical mistakes, you should try to reduce it to minimum. Then only because each and every mistake will be counted, and each and every mistake will be counted, and based on that only you will be given the marks. So you have to be very careful. Need not just look for flowery language, some kind of very, what we can say, some novels you might have read some kind of flowery languages, okay, ornamental language. So those kind of languages you need not try to copy into your own essay. Use only simple language. But the points what you are bringing out should be clear to the examiner when you are writing. That is a very important thing. And whatever you are writing should be written without any grammatical mistake. And it should be presented in a chronological order. Means what comes first, then what comes next, in that order. So what happens at the last, you should not start with the in the beginning of the essay. Okay, so that also should be noted. So I've just written some points how to, for writing a composition. What are the things that to be noted? So first of all, what is a composition? A composition is a piece of writing based on a theme of it or a subject. You are given a theme or a subject is given, a topic is given. So based on that topic, you are supposed to write a composition. Okay, and that should be presented in your
Okay,
own way,
ma'am.
not copied from other. Okay, so that is the first definition of a composition and what it requires. It requires a careful thought and planning. Simply by looking into the question itself, yeah, some of you, I don't know whether anybody has the habit of doing that. When you are reading out the choices in your essay, you will be fine. Number of choices will be there. Maybe some of those questions will be very attractive to you, the way it is presented. So don't stick on to such choices, because the one which you are picking out from the question paper, you should have a clear cut idea about what is asked there. Simply don't, just by looking at the type of essay or the question which is asked, you will be attracted to it and you are trying to write it. And when you start writing, you don't have any idea about that topic. Okay, so in such a, maybe if you're asked to write about a ship voyage in a ship, okay, and you are very much interested, then after all, it's an adventurous journey. Okay, so you start writing, but you don't have any idea about a ship voyage. Okay, so in such a way, you should not attempt a question which you don't have any idea. So you should carefully think. First, thought process is very important, and after that, plan it. Once when you see the question in the question paper, when you see the question, first thing what you have to do is that you have to decide which question I should attempt. Three or four choices will be there. Out of that, which question I am very much confident to write. Okay, the point which I know. So that you have to see first. And after that, you have to choose out of three or four, one which you are very much confident or very much knowledgeable about that topic. Okay, so that you have to choose first. And after that, you have to plan it. Okay, so what all things can be included in that particular topic? Okay, in that question which is asked, whether it is, and different kinds of compositions are also there, that also we'll discuss now, and whether you know the topic in depth or not. If you are not knowing that topic in depth, please don't try to attempt, try for another chance. Okay, so if you know it very well, you can plan it, and planning in the sense is what all points can be included in that essay. Okay, and your essay always should be written as in three structures. Okay, in a way we can say three structures. Why? Because the first part is the introduction part.
Introduction, body,
Okay, then comes
conclusion.
the
Body,
body, and then
conclusion,
comes the conclusion. Okay,
conclusion.
so introduction part always should be a catchy one. Okay, so by reading, the once when the examiner starts reading your essay, from the introduction itself, the examiner should get a anxiousness or curiosity to go into your essay. So in such a way, you have to start your essay. For example, you can start your essay either. So, always keep in mind the topic which is asked. Based on that, in connection with that, if you know any quote, if you are not sure enough, please don't try to write. Okay, a wrong quote only will try to get reduced marks only. Okay, your marks will be reduced. So if you are very much sure of the quote, which is having a clear-cut connection with the question, then you can start your essay with that quote. Okay, according to so and so. So who is the person who has written that quote? So with the name of that person, you can start the quote. Okay, in such a way. So don't simply write a quote which does not have any relevance with the topic or the question which is asked. Always try to have connection between the topic and also the quote that you are presenting in the beginning of the sentence. Okay, beginning of the essay. So in such a way, you can start your essay with a good introduction, which should be a very attractive and it should be a very catchy. Okay, an introduction paragraph should not be too lengthy. And okay, and after that, moving on to the next paragraph, you have to start, okay, mainly a question which is asked. Okay, in that body part, mainly main points you can just pick it up. Okay, related to that essay, you should have, while you are organizing and planning this essay, planning to write how to write it effectively. Okay, the expression has got a great role to play in this. How you are expressing the idea or your thought into the words, into the form of words for the examiner to read. Okay, so in such a way, when you are presenting it, mainly three or four points only will be there. All the sub points cannot be added in it. Okay, mainly 3 points, and those 3 points you can just distribute in 3 paragraphs. So body consists of mainly 3 paragraphs. Understood. So introduction, after that, the body part. In the body part itself, we can split that into 3 paragraphs. And the first paragraph, the most important point or the prime point related to that topic, that we can present in the first paragraph. Moving on to the slight transition from the next second paragraph, you can write the second important point. Okay, second important point, and moving on to the next is the third important point. Okay, so by the third one, you would have got a clear-cut idea about the presentation of what you have done there. Okay, and the last concluding paragraph, you can conclude, you can give a good conclusion in your own view. from your own point of view. Okay, not from, okay, so sometimes you might have written, okay, so these are the things which I wanted to present. In such a way, don't ever try to present it. Okay, you have to conclude the essay. It should not be an abrupt end. Okay, like in between you have ended up. It should end up naturally, and ending up, you have to add up the point in such a way that your point of view should be expressed based on the topic which is asked. Your point of view, you have to express it. Understood. Okay, in such a way, you have to conclude it. Now we will see one by one. Okay, here we are. It requires a careful thought and planning, and you have to plan before writing. That is what I've told you straight away by seeing the question itself. Don't start writing. Okay, first plan it. What all things can be included? What are the ideas which are in connection with the topic which is asked? So ideas should be arranged in a proper order, how it should be presented in your essay. You have to plan it and make a rough outline. So all these you can do with the pencil on the side of your answer sheet. Okay. So just remember, for you to remember the points. Otherwise, by the time when you most probably you will be writing the essay at last only. So if you're writing the essay at last, some of the points which you have got in the beginning might have forgotten. Okay. So that is why you have to, whenever in the beginning itself, when you're planning, it's 15 minutes normally for the exam. As it is nowadays, you are sitting from home and writing. Otherwise, you will get 15 minutes reading time is there. So that 15 minutes you have to organize and plan all these things. Okay. So you can just mention the points. You're not writing the full essay. Just mention jot out the points there with the pen. Okay. So that you can make a rough outline. And when you are presenting, that is what I've told you, don't use any kind of flowery language or ornamental language, which others will be very much, by seeing it, they'll be wonderstruck. Need not. Okay, your language should be as simple as possible for others to understand the ideas or the concept easily. So good language, correct vocabulary, the word which you are using. Maybe you have come across a new word somewhere when you have read some books or from the newspaper. Okay, and you wanted to insert that new word somewhere in your essay. Please don't ever try to do that unless and until you know the correct meaning of that vocabulary. Vocabulary means the word count. Okay,
Word.
the word that you are inserting should be clear to you. The meaning of the word should be very much clear to you. Then only you need to insert those vocabularies. So correct vocabulary is needed and accurate grammar. Okay. So grammar while you are writing, maybe you will be time will be very less. So you'll be continuously busy writing without any break in between. So you don't get sufficient time to look into each and every sentence. Okay, whether there is any grammatical mistake or not. So one easy tip which I can tell you is that what you have to do is that while writing, don't say aloud, but in your mind you just say the sentence and write. Okay, so when you say this, who is getting disturbed there? So while you are writing, you just say the sentence in your mind, so you can easily identify whether you are making any grammatical mistake or not. Okay, without saying it in your mind when you are writing, maybe mistakes can occur. Okay, it's up to you. Okay, so while you are saying the sentence and writing, but should not be allowed for others to hear. Okay, because it will be a disturbance for others, and teachers won't allow that to do. So in your mind, you just say the sentence and write it. Okay, in such a way, when you write, you can avoid a lot of grammatical mistakes. Okay, the construction will be perfect and get rid of irrelevant points. So what important points related with that essay only need to be written. You do not just cover up all the unwanted details and fill it up in your essay just to increase the length of your essay. That should not be done, because based on the main points only you will be given the marks, not based on the length of the essay. Okay, it is not the length of the essay which is counted, but the point. Yeah, of course, the length is also counted, but more than that, the point should be there. Okay, not simply with a complete, what we can say, blunders. If you're filling up 2 or 3 pages, you are not going to get any mark. Understood? Okay, get minus marks also. So that you have to take care of, and should have a distinct and a catchy introduction. As I've told you, the introduction should be very much catchy one, so that the examiner will feel like continue to read what is written there. Okay. So, and body and conclusion. So 3 main paragraphs and the body paragraph can be in 3 paragraphs. Okay. So this is the first paragraph. Second paragraph will be body, starting the body, and body paragraph according to the points of that essay. 1, 2, 3. 3 paragraphs body you can write, and the last one will be the concluding paragraph. Okay, where you will bringing out your point of view regarding that point or the topic which is asked. In such a way, you have to present it, and should end up naturally based on your point of view, not taking the point from others. You have to express your own point of view in that. Okay. And that should end up naturally also. Use active words whenever possible. Okay. So whenever is it possible, you have to use active words and not passive words. Okay. That is a basic thing which you should know in writing a composition, any kind of composition. Okay. Any kind of composition, when you are presenting it, this is how you should have a clear-cut idea about how to present it and how much lengthy it should be and how each and every paragraph should be arranged. Okay, in such a way, you have to present that. Okay, and we know that there are two kinds of types of compositions are there. One is the factual composition, that means it is clearly based on the facts. Okay, so for example, you can take page number 83. Page number 83 in your total English. Have you taken? Children, have you taken page number 83?
Yes.
Okay, so in that it is written types of composition.
Yes.
And okay, so first one can be divided into two categories, factual and imaginative. Okay, and factual writing means it will be to solve a situation or it is purely based on the fact. Okay, such a composition is concerned with facts rather than with thoughts and feelings. It is not abstract in nature. For example, a factual writing, how to mend a puncture in a bicycle tire. So that is not based on your thoughts and feelings. It is purely based on the facts, how to solve it. Okay, such a situation, if it comes to you, how will you tackle that situation? So that is why it is called factual or practical writing. Okay, so that is one type. And the second type is imaginative writing. Imaginative writing calls for an imaginative response. There you your thoughts and feelings, you can give wings to your thoughts and feelings, and based on that, you can write it. But it should not cross the limit, what is asked. Okay, so response, an original way of looking at things, not creative ideas, forceful arguments, imaginative compositions can be divided into the following categories. So in that, the first one is narrative composition. Okay, so narrative composition, what you are doing is that take page number 118. 118. There it is explained what is a narrative composition and how to present it. Have you taken? So most probably you will have 5 kinds of compositions will be given as choices. First one will be narrative, one will be descriptive, one will be argumentative, for or against the statement, and another one will be writing a short story based on the clue given, and last one will be a picture composition. Okay, so this is the usual pattern of the type of questions or the types of compositions that you used to have for the exam paper. Okay, board exam pattern, that is a pattern. But as of now, I am giving you only argumentative and descriptive type of compositions. Okay, as you are the starters only. Okay, but you should know how to present each and every type of composition. So first one, narrative composition. And narrative composition, we know that when you narrate something, okay, you have witnessed something, you have attended a marriage ceremony or you have attended a party, you have witnessed an accident on the road while coming to the school, you will narrate that to your friends normally. Okay, when you come to school, you will narrate all the incidents that happen each and from the beginning till the end, you will narrate to your friends. So that type of narration is called a narrative composition, what you have witnessed and what you have experienced. Okay, and so narrative composition usually will be in first person's account. Okay, so narrative composition can also be called first person's account because what you have witnessed or what you have attended, you are just narrating that. Understood? Okay, so narrative composition consists of narration of events or series of events. Just underline the important points there. The narration should be based on some incident about which you have some experience. Hello? Huh? Yes. Okay, but here there is no problem. Video is on. Getting stuck? Oh
No
God.
problem, miss. Miss, no problem.
Yeah, they are telling no problem.
No problem.
Miss, after voice video is coming.
After voice video is coming. No problem. You just listen because I'm not just writing anything.
No,
Okay.
no,
So
no, no.
listen to the audio only. Understood? Okay, children. Okay. In case if any problem is there in the video, just listen to the audio only. Okay. Concentrate in your textbook. Okay, what I am reading and underline the important points also. The narration should be based on some incidents about which you have some experience. And the topics of narrative composition, these are the usual topics that you should come for the exam. Underline those. It is about an incident, about a street quarrel, a festival, or a marriage. Okay. And another one can be another topic of narrative composition, an accident or a natural calamity, for example, flood, fire, storm, earthquake, a motor car accident, a shipwreck. Okay, so based on any of this, it can come, and a journey or a voyage. And fourth one, a visit to a place of interest, for example, a museum, a story, real or imaginary, that very rarely used to come. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So these are the 4 points, 4 topics which are given there. Those 4 topics usually used to come for the exam. Any of this. Okay, narrate an accident which you have come across while you are going through somewhere. Okay, and narrate about a storm which happened in your area or an earthquake. Okay, which hit in certain parts of that district. Okay, so in such a way, these are the topics usually that used to come for narrative composition, and one has to be imaginative and convincing in a narrative composition. Underline. And if you have to narrate what you did at a hill station, so if you're asked to narrate your experience in a hill station, you know that mainly what you did there is wanted there. Okay, what is asked is what you did there at the hill station, not your journey to the hill station. You don't give much prominence to while the traveling to that particular place is not just should not be given much prominence. What you have done after reaching there should be given prominence. What all things you have done, activities, one by one, you can just mention them. Okay, so do not waste your time on the details of the journey to the resort. Most of us have leisurely time, and eliminate uninteresting incidents and emphasize interesting ones to make your composition more appealing. Okay, so what is asked? Always, that is what I've told you. Read the question, understand it. What? Hello.
Yes.
What is the essence of the essay? Okay, so mainly what you should know, what is the essence of the essay, what is wanted by the examiner when he asks such a question. That you should get a clear-cut idea about it. Then easily you can just concentrate more on that, and unnecessary elements, as I've told you, or unnecessary or uninteresting incidents, you can just skip off and concentrate or emphasize more on what is asked there. Okay. When narrating an incident, set the scene and unfold the theme. Okay. And the setting of narration, creating the atmosphere. The setting of narration contributes to create a suitable atmosphere developing the theme. For example, the quiet domestic village-like setting creates an atmosphere of a serene atmosphere. Okay. So if you are just writing about a quiet and domestic village, means it is a serene atmosphere or a very silent atmosphere there. Okay. And if it is a weird graveyard setting creates, if you are writing about a weird graveyard, that will create a sense of what we can say eagerness or anxiety or some sort of fright element is there. Okay, some sort of fright element is there in that. So in such a way, you have to create the atmosphere to bring out what you want to present there in a narrative composition. Okay, so and few examples are also given there. So those examples, we can just go through it. And order of events. A narrative writing normally follows a chronological order. Okay. And that is what I told you in the beginning. Don't start from what you have done at last. Okay. Always start from when you plan the trip. From there onwards, then one by one you can start, and the activities that you have done in the hill station, you can give a detailed report about it. And after that, end up with what you have done at last. In that chronological order, you have to present it. Okay. That is in order with the incidents take place. The following expressions are commonly used in narrative writing to make the order of events clear. So that you have to underline. These are the connectors. Okay, first, second, next, finally, at last. So these are the connectors that you can use in between your writing to make it more effective. Don't simply write always then, after that, then. Normally I've seen in your writing, then we have done it. After that, we have done it. Then again, then. So then and after only will be there. Okay. So in such a way, first, second, next, finally, at last, consequently, as a result, at length, soon, immediately, then afterwards, after a few days, etc. So these are some of the connectors that will help you to make your writing just have a smooth flow of your writing. Okay, so when you do like this, otherwise there will be an abrupt ending in between the writing. So that you have to take care of. So narrative composition, have you got an idea what to do? So always it should be in first person's account. And what you have to do is that you have to have a clear cut idea about what is the question that is asked. And based on that, you have to present it. Clear?
Okay, ma'am. Yes,
okay. So narrative composition, this is how you should present it. Next, moving on to descriptive. That is page number 140. Take page number 140. 140. Okay, so in a descriptive composition, what you have to do is that, so you are giving a descriptive composition, an eye for detail, and especially in a descriptive composition, it is connected with the senses. These are the 5 senses all of you know. Okay, so 5 senses which you use to hear, see, taste, smell, and also to feel. Okay, so based on your 5 senses, you have to write your descriptive essay. Give a descriptive experience about what you have visualized. The essential quality required for writing a descriptive composition is an eye for detail. Many people are unable to visualize in their mind. See, if you are asked to write about a busy market scene, so you have to visualize the things first. So that is why I've told you your imaginative power should be that much so that you will have a clear-cut idea about what all things will be happening in a busy market. Okay, a weekly market scene or a busy market. So you might have at least once in a while you might have gone with your parents to a market. So what all activities are being done there are going on in a market. So you have to visualize there when you are asked a question. Okay, so from your imagination you have to bring out the points one by one and you have to present it in the essay. Okay. Okay. Many people are unable to visualize in their minds the details of a scene which they might have looked at several times. There are a number of ways of dealing with a descriptive essay. First of all, underline, the writer makes a note of what he sees. Okay, then he may describe the sound, smell, movement. So that is what I've told you to structure with the sentences. Okay. So another method of dealing with the descriptive essay is by making use of contrast. Okay. Who is being disturbed? Another method of dealing with the descriptive essay is by making use of contrast. For example, one can often find interesting material by comparing 2 scenes. Okay, so a scene, a town center during daytime and nighttime. What is the major difference that you can see? We know that daytime there will be a heavy rush and people will be moving. Every now and then you can see a huge crowd will be moving to different shops for the purchase and also for other activities. But in a night time, what is the major difference? What is the contrast from the day scene? There won't be anybody. Okay, maybe 1 or 2 persons only will be walking here and there. So in such a way, you can make contrast, say a scene by day with the same scene at night. A better way would be write your description at an entirely fanciful level, relying on vivid imagination rather than on facts. So in a descriptive essay, you should not stick on to the facts. Okay, you can use your imagination. Maybe the thing which you haven't seen there in your imagination, you can just bring out that and also present that. Because normally in a market, what all things can happen, you might have seen in films or you might have seen the live market scene. So all these things can be clubbed together and presented effectively. Okay, so need not look on to, okay, this didn't happen there, so why should I write this? It is not like that. This is purely based on your imagination. Okay, so in such a way, you can present it. So only factual writing should be based on the facts only. All kinds of writing, you can use your imaginative power. However, you will write a far more effective composition if you deal with the subject which is known to you personally. So once, if you have personal experience there, it will be better. You can write in a better manner than what is expected when you bring out from your imagination. Descriptive techniques can be developed with practice. And first one, description of an object is mentioned that's very rarely only used to ask. And description of a person, if you're asked to describe a person who has influenced you in your life, and what are the qualities that attracted you the most in that person. Okay, so you are asked to write a detailed report or detailed description about that person whom have influenced in your life the most. Okay, in such a way, if a question is asked, you can just add up the body of the composition consists of the physical features of the person. Okay, like height, looks, body shape, stature, and clothing. Maybe sometimes the way he approaches others that may attract you. Okay, maybe his physical features may attract you. Maybe the way he responds to others' questions that may attract you. And another one is, any doubt is there?
No.
Okay. And how he deals with the person. If a situation comes, how he is dealing or how he is just bringing those things effectively in their life, all those things might have affected many people. Okay, so all these things can be included in this: clothing, posture, speech, mannerisms, life history, interest, his family background, his opinions and actions, what others say about him, how he affects other people, comparison and association. Okay, so all these things you can bring out in the composition which you are writing in the descriptive one. Okay, and conclusion, and what highlight the effect of his personality, how it affected you, how all these qualities of that person affected you, that you can just mention in the concluding paragraph. And if you are asked to describe about a scene, like as I told you, a busy town center, a stormy seashore, a deserted village. Okay, and this may consist of the description of the building, traffic, people, their actions, animals, trees, flowers, and included in this part are colors, shapes. So all those things, what all types of buildings, whether what type of whether they are old or new, and the traffic. Okay, whether it is very heavy traffic there or it is very once in a while only. The vehicles are moving, and people also, about the people, what kind of people are just roaming around in that town center. Okay, whether only business people or those who are coming for the purchase. So all these things can be included. And from the different shops, what all sounds are coming from different shops, and the smells, maybe restaurants or any other fast food shops are there, you know that different kinds of variety smells also will be there. Okay, so all those things can be included when you are describing about a place. Okay, make your description vivid by using figures or speeches. The river disappearing like a serpent. Okay, so the river disappearing like a serpent means we know that what is the figure of speech which is used there when you use like. You have studied in your English second, lot of figures of speech. Yes. The river disappearing like a serpent, which is a figure of speech. Yes? Yes. Which is a figure of speech if like or as is coming?
What is serpent?
Serpent. Serpent means a snake. Sometimes the rivers will have the shape of a snake, isn't it? From aerial view, if you look at, from the air, if you look at, the shape of the sea, or sorry, the shape of the river will be like that of a snake. Okay. So what is the figure of speech?
Metaphor.
Metaphor or simile? Tell me.
Simile.
Like or as when it comes, it will be simile. Like or as it comes, it will be simile. Okay. Metaphor means the river is a serpent. Okay, the river attributes the qualities of serpent to the river, then only it will be metaphor. Okay, so when we compare one with the other one, that will be called simile, the figure of speech. Okay, so those things we can include in a descriptive composition. And moving on to the next third kind of composition, which is argumentative, for or against. Okay, so page number 52, take page number 152, 152. Alna, to whom you are speaking?
Sorry, brother.
When you are attending the class, you are supposed to be in the class because your voice is heard to the whole class. Okay? We are disturbing the whole class as such. So please take care. Okay, so argumentative composition. Have you taken the page 152, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so in an argumentative composition, last time also you have written for or against a topic or a statement will be given, and that statement you have to either support the statement or you have to go against the statement. And the statement should be at least familiar to you. What all things can be included in the statement. Okay, so if you are speaking against the statement, what are points you can bring out, which will be against that statement. Okay, if you are speaking for the statement, you have to bring out the points that will support the statement. And whatever it is, if you are speaking for or against the statement, what you have to do is that you have to bring out sufficient points to bring out what you want to convey, the idea which or the concept which you want to convey. Okay, and in the beginning of in the argumentative composition, what you have to do is that in the beginning paragraph itself, you have to clearly mention whether you are supporting the statement or whether you are speaking against the statement. Okay, so from there onwards, you are just bringing out the points one by one. The most important point, as I've told you in the beginning, three main points, 3 or 4 maximum main points, and sub points we cannot separate it. Sub points we can add up to these main points. Okay, and these points can be elaborated with the help of certain facts or certain statistics or the experiences from your own life. You can add up in that. Okay, so first point will be first paragraph after the introduction, the body, first paragraph, first point. In that, you can add up the examples or your experiences or the facts related to that point only. Okay, and you will have a transition from that to the next second important point in the second body paragraph. There you have to write the second important point, and based on that, what all things you can add up in connection with that sub points related to that main point that you can add up in that next paragraph. In such a way, you have to present the point. Okay, so each main point will be in a separate paragraph. Understood? In the body paragraph itself, each main point in a separate paragraph, and sufficient examples you have to add up to prove your point. That is very important. Okay, so an argumentative composition is one in which the writer arrives at a conclusion through reasoning. In this type of writing, you are required to put forward your ideas and opinions on a controversial subject, your ideas. Okay, or you, whatever you have come across in the newspaper or in TV or in some other writing. It should consist of a central theme developed into a definite conclusion. First of all, decide what to say in the conclusion. Okay, so what is it that which you want to bring out? That you have to think first, and based on that, you have to jot out the points or just prepare organize the points. Okay, in the conclusion, then plan your arguments consistently leading up to the conclusion. You may be asked to discuss, pass a judgment, or deal with a quotation in which you are expected to consider both sides of the thing. Support your argument by facts or reason. Okay. The following qualities are expected in an argumentative composition: a genuine interest. Hello. Who is that? Okay, so a genuine interest in the topic is very important. Why? Because if you don't have any idea about that topic or the statement, you cannot present any point either for or against the statement. Okay, so basic knowledge about that is very much needed. Then presentation of adequate arguments. That is why I've told you 3 or 4 main points are needed. The points you have to put forward. The ability to see both the sides of the argument, then only you can bring out your points and highlight it. The ability to take account of the objections and make your way, leave it. The ability to present forcefully a clear conclusion. Okay, so 3 important points mainly. Supporting the statement or you are speaking against the statement. Okay. Then be sure that you have sufficient information on the topic and clear in your perception. Strengthen your viewpoints with facts, figures, and historical evidence. So if you have anything which connection with that, if you know any kind of facts or figures or statistical data, all those things, if you are clear or if you are very much sure of it, you can present it along with your to highlight your point. Okay, so all those things you can do it to make your essay more impressive. Understood. Okay, and in an argumentative composition, do not forget to give a suitable conclusion. too many arguments for or against a proposition may not give you enough time to present your own opinion. You are expected to have a view, and as I've told you, need not have too many number of points. Okay, too many points means you won't be able to just bring out a conclusion out of it. So that is why I've told you 3 or 4 maximum main points, sub points you can add up along with it. Okay, avoid a one-sided presentation. Yeah, that is for other kind of presentations only. Second one, you leave it. Avoid presenting a prejudiced view. So it should not be too narrow-minded. You have to think widely. Okay. Maybe it is a political issue which is being asked, and many of the topics set for such compositions are controversial, which may arouse strong feelings. Maybe some of the topics you have very much strictly against that statement, but you should not present the view in such a way that it will make others, you should not show your aggressive mood in your writing, because after all, the examiner wants your way of presentation. Your presentation skill is only counted there. Okay, whether you are for the statement or against the statement, it doesn't matter. The examiner wants your presentation or your expression only. Understood. So your aggressive mood should not be brought out in the piece of writing. The reader do not want to read an angry condemnation of the view of others. Okay, they are looking for a reasonable examination of both sides of the proposition, followed by an equally cool statement of your opinion. Whether you are saying that very strictly when you are presenting it or in a positive way. Understood. But of course, you can present your view, but your view should be presented in such a way that you should not be too aggressive. For the examiner, when he or she reads it, they should not feel that you are too aggressive in your presentation. Okay.
Miss,
Yes.
video is not clear.
Video. No, need not concentrate on the video. Just listen to the audio only. Understood?
Miss,
Okay.
Yes,
Audio
ma'am.
is clear, right?
Miss,
Audio is clear.
yes, audio is clear.
Okay. Need to
Miss,
listen only to the audio. Okay. Because I'm not writing anything on the board. Take a clear stand. If you're asked, yes.
Miss, while we write argumentative essays, should we write both for and against the
No,
statement?
yeah. It's a very good question. I forgot to tell you. See, when you are writing an argumentative essay, don't ever try to write both for and against. Okay. So if you are for the statement, if you are supporting the statement, as I've told you, the beginning paragraph itself, you have to mention that whether you are supporting the statement or you are against the statement. And so if you are supporting the statement, for supporting that statement, what all points we can bring out? Those
In
points you
introduction,
have
we should write. In introduction, we should write I stand against or for the statement.
Yeah, you can write. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. But if you have, you can present the beginning sentence should not be straight away. You need not do that. Beginning, it should be a catchy introduction. Okay. And after that, you can just slide on to the presentation that whether you are speaking against, whether you are, I just strictly against the statement of such and such a thing which is presented there as a question. Okay. And if you are supporting the statement, based on that, you have to present 3 or 4 points. Understood? Okay. And at last, if you want, you can just mention 2 or 3 sentences against that statement. Don't have a comparison and contrast. Argumentative essay doesn't mean compare and contrast. Okay. So if you're asked to write a composition on comparing and contrast only, you need to write that argumentative essay. You have to stick on to one stand. Okay, either for or against. Don't ever try to write. For all I'm telling you, please just keep in mind, don't ever try both for and against. If you're supporting, the supporting points only need. If you're against that, those points only need. Okay. And at last, before the concluding paragraph, you can just note down 2 sentences regarding against. If you're writing for, then against you can write it and come to a conclusion. These are the reasons why I'm speaking against this or why I'm speaking for this. Okay. In your point of view, you have to express in the last paragraph. That is very important. Okay. Not simply, so these are the reasons in such a way, don't conclude it. You have to present a point of view of your own regarding that statement. Okay, that should be your own point, not taken from, borrowed from anywhere. Okay, okay. So those things you have to keep in mind in argumentative composition. And moving on to the picture composition. Okay, take page number 202. 202. I'll just quickly do it. After that comprehension we have to see. Okay, so in picture composition, what actually we are doing is that you will be given a picture. Okay, like for example, turn the next page, you can see a picture. Have you seen a picture? 204?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what
Yes.
is shown there? What is shown in the picture?
The students are cleaning the road.
Okay, cleaning the surroundings, isn't it? Okay, and I think a teacher is giving instructions to them. So if such a picture is given and you are asked, in a picture composition, such a picture will be given and you are asked to write either a composition or a story or a description about the picture that is given below. Understood? Either you can write a story based on that or you can just describe what is it and or else you can write a story based on it. If you're writing a story means you have to give names for the characters, minimum 3 of the characters, and even you can make yourself as one of the characters there. Understood? If you're making a story out of the picture, you can make yourself one of the characters plus 2 or 3 characters, other characters are also needed. Understood? Got it clear? Okay. And if you are just writing a composition on that, okay? A composition on that, you have to explain what all things are there which are given, the not literal what you can see in the picture. Okay, so that anybody, those who are looking at the picture can understand. What is the inner meaning which is underlined in the picture? That you have to bring out. Okay, so for example, so just go through this. Picture serves as stimulus to which you are expected to respond, and some kind of spark will come out when you just see the picture. So when you look at this picture, what idea will come to your mind first of all? Just tell me.
Cleanliness.
What idea? Yeah, cleanliness, health and hygiene. Okay, so what all things you are learning in your school? Is it not? First and foremost thing in your life is that every student or every human being should be have health and hygiene and should clean up your surroundings, environmental pollution, all these things you can. So this picture is very easy for you to write a good composition based on it. Okay. So in such a way, you can, all these ideas will come to your mind. Or if you have seen a picture where a small child is doing some work related to child labor, you can write it. Okay. So in such a way, you have to present your own views. Okay, there no one can restrict you. Your imaginative power, your creativity should bring out. Okay, even the examiner cannot control you. This picture is like this only because each and every one of you have your own point of view. When you're looking at this picture, what all things you can understand from the picture that you will write, and others will have a different point of view. Okay, maybe you will have a positive point of view, others will have a negative point of view. So that will be there. So each and every one, what you can understand, not literally. You see, don't ever try to write it. A boy and a girl, they are sweeping the road and they are cleaning up the mess in the area. Don't write that. That everyone knows. Okay. So other than that, what is underlined in that? That yes.
Miss, while we write a picture composition, we should write as normally as an argumentative composition.
No, argumentative, like a descriptive one, What all things you can see there. And if you are writing a short story, of course, in a short story way, a plot is needed, characters are needed, a conclusion is needed. Okay, in such a way, you have to.
How much length?
Yeah, all these. For this exam, you need to write only 1.5 sides of your answer sheet. Okay. So this is how the picture composition you have to attempt. So these are 4 or 5 types of compositions which I have presented now. And I think now you have got a clear-cut idea about how to present an essay effectively for the exam. Is it clear, all of you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So till now, whatever you are doing, just remove everything from your mind and have a new way of thinking, a new way of presentation in your essay. Next exam, I want to see that. Okay? So not simply, and many of you are writing a single paragraph. Don't ever try to write a single paragraph. As I've told you, introduction, first paragraph, body, split again into 3 paragraphs, and then the concluding paragraph. In such a way, you have to present it. Okay, clear, all of you? Hello?
Yes.
Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now we will see a comprehension passage. Okay, 103. Take page number 103. See, we know that as I've several times I've just told you about the comprehension passages which you have till last year and this year. And by looking at this is the one of the shortest passage. Okay, you can see this much lengthy passage is given. And if you just go through this passage, you won't get any idea about it first when you read it. Okay, so it is not such an easy passage that will be given to you. Okay, lot of inner meanings. You should know to read between the lines. Do you know what is meant by read between the lines? Huh? The phrase, what is the meaning of that phrase? Read between the lines. Read between the lines means what all the meanings which are underlined in that passage. That should be understood by you people. Understood? Okay, so because straight away what we can read and understand, that everyone will know. Okay, other than that, what is the underlined meaning in that passage? That should be known only if you know to read between the lines. Okay, like for example, in your poem also lots of underlined meanings are there. Simply not the literal meaning which is there in each and every line. Is it not? In daffodils and all?
Yes.
Thousands which I see in a line, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so those type of hyperbole, all those things which are underlined meanings are the same way in comprehension passage also, underlined meaning. You should know to read between the lines. So when you get a passage, don't straight away, like as we have done before, straight away look into that and copy down the answer. Okay, so first thing, please listen carefully, all of you, the steps that you have to do in attending a comprehension passage or answering a comprehension passage. When you get a comprehension passage, first thing, you have to read the comprehension passage once. Okay, just go through the comprehension passage once, you won't get any idea, I'm sure. Okay, that is 100% sure you won't get any idea because such kind of passages used to come for the exam. Okay, and after that, what you have to do is that then go through the questions at the back, and the way of the questions which are asked in the comprehension passage is not like the previous type. You will be asked, first section is give the meaning of each of the following words used in the passage. 3 words will be given. Okay, instead of 3 this time, maybe 2 only will be there. 3 words will be given, and you are asked to write the contextual meaning of those words. Maybe you don't have any idea about those words. Why? Because you are not coming across those words often. Okay, but you are not asked to write the dictionary meaning of those words. You are not supposed to write the dictionary meaning. Instead, why they have asked the meaning of those words is that whether the examiner wants to check whether you have understood, whether you are able to comprehend the passage or not. Okay, comprehending the passage means to understand the passage. Okay, so whether you have understood the passage or not, to check that only these meanings are asked. Okay, because if you understood the passage only, you would be able to answer these meanings well. Because it is a contextual meaning. Don't ever try to write the literal meaning. Always try to write the context. In the context, what is the meaning of that word? Okay, so that is asked. So 3 words will be there, and that meaning when you are writing also you have to take care. You are supposed to write either a word or a phrase only. Phrase means it should not contain a word. Okay, group of words, it should not contain a word. So either a phrase or a word, don't ever try to answer it in clause. Okay, or in a sentence. You won't get any marks. The whole answer will be cut. Okay, so please try to answer the question either in a word or in a phrase. That is enough. And another thing which you have to keep in mind is that you have to answer, look the form of the verb, whether it is ing form, whether it is present tense, whether it is past tense. So the same tense itself you have to answer the question. Okay, here you can see that displaying is the word. So the answer which you are going to write for this should be in the same ing form. That is very important, otherwise you won't get marks. Okay, so very important things that you have to keep in mind when you're answering your comprehension passage. So displaying means display something, that means exhibiting. Okay, so displaying, the meaning will be exhibiting. You cannot write exhibited. Your answer will be wrong. Okay, so ing form should be in the same ing form, and if it is present tense, the answer should be in present tense. If it is past tense, the answer should be in past tense. So that is a very important thing in finding out the meanings, and meaning, literal meaning is not asked, contextual meaning is asked. So you have to read the line, and you can see that there will be either the word will be underlined or it will be given in
bold.
No, italics. Okay, in italics it will be given. Okay, so in such a way you can identify those words. Got it clear? Okay, so the first section will be, you will be asked to write the meanings, and writing the meanings, these things you have to keep in mind. Okay, the same form of the verb and tense also you have to see, and what is the contextual meaning of those words. Okay, and moving on to the next section, there you will have 5 questions. Okay, and last question you don't have, not more than 50 words summarizing the passage is not there for this time. So that later only you will have. Okay, next you will have 4 or 5 questions you will be asked. Okay, and when you are answering these questions, okay, the prime thing is that please don't try to copy what is written there in the passage. Okay, so try to find out where, and as I've told you, after first read, yes? Any doubt is there?
No.
Okay, after first reading, you have to go through the questions as I've told you. Okay, go through the questions, and after going through the questions, again come back and read the passage once more. So you will have an idea about what are the questions and where the answers of these questions lie. So please do mark it with the pencil in the passage. Okay, so after first reading, then go to the questions, then come back again to the passage and try to find out by reading the whole passage, try to find out the answers of these questions. Understood? And mark it.
Yes.
And next, yes?
From a passage we can just make and write.
Yeah, that is what I'm about to tell you. Okay. Okay. So just find out the answers and mark it. Okay. Then even after the second reading also, if you didn't understand, go through it one more time in detail. But all these things should be done in 15 minutes time. Essay should be prepared, organize your essay and this passage also. Okay. So please arrange the time accordingly. Okay, so you have to organize all these things within that 15 minutes time slot. Okay, so please go through this and try to find out the answers where it lies and just mark it. And then come back to questions and start answering one by one. And you have already marked it. Okay, and don't try to copy the exact thing from the passage as the answer. Okay, you have to read out, understand, and then try to present in your own words. Very, very important. Why? Because take page number 104. After this class, what you have to do is that you have to go through this passage and read out all the explanation. As only very less time remaining, I'll just quickly go through this only. Okay. What are the things that you have to keep in mind that I'll tell you, but please go through in detail all the explanation given. Okay. Okay. So here notes, suggested answers are given there, and each of the equivalent words or phrases must fit in the sentence in the passage in which the original word is used. The same grammatical form of the word and the meaning must be used, underlined. For example, the word is used in the passage is present participle. Okay, so according to the of the word, you have to use it. In a question like this, do not do more than what you needed to do. Just give a word or a phrase. That is it. Okay.
Nothing is audible.
Yes?
Nothing is audible.
Nothing is audible.
Nothing is audible.
Okay, for all it's the same problem?
No, ma'am.
No.
So it might be your problem maybe. Just check it. Okay. Okay. Explain the effects of the lamplight on the interior of the shop. First question. Answer the following questions in your own words. In that first question, the second sentence in the passage has the material to answer this question. So the question answer lies in the second sentence. The wooden shutters which cover the shop windows, all these things. Okay. But you are asked to give your answer in your own words. Therefore, if you just write down the sentence from the passage as it is, your answer would not get marked. It is clearly mentioned here, my dear children. Understood? Okay. So please don't ever try to copy down what is written there. So what you have to do is that the light from the lamp has following impact. So these are the points which are taken from the text. Okay. So, and at last, what you have to write is that in the red box, have you seen? The next page 105.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this is how you should present the answer. No. See, that is point wise what is mentioned is what is given in the passage. You are not supposed to write like that. What is written in page number 105 in the red box? Have you seen? The wooden shutters being
Yes,
drawn
ma'am.
with yes. In such a way, you have to present it. Okay, so that is not exactly what is given in the passage. So read up, understand, and present in your own way. And there also you have to check the tense of the question. If the question is asked in past tense, you have to answer the question in past tense. If it is in present tense, you have to answer it in present. Got it clear? Okay. Tense
Yes,
is
ma'am.
very
Clear.
important while you are answering the, just speaking out the meaning of the words and also the answering the question. Okay. So this is how you have to answer. Go through this as we have only very less time. I'm not reading out all this. Okay. Core idea did you get? How to answer this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So second question, what do you learn about the layout and furniture in the shop? And this one, layout and furniture, what all furniture are there in the room? We cannot just imagine and write, or we cannot just create our own ideas, because it's a factual question. What all things are there in the shop? Okay, there you have to add up the things which is already given there. This is a factual question. Summarize the facts collected from the whole passage. Okay, so what all things are there in that shop? The whole passage mentions about that. Okay, so you have to write on 2 points, the layout and what is the layout means how it is presented. Okay, in the shop, how things are presented. The layout and the furniture. Yes.
Factual means what?
Factual means already factual composition, practical one. Okay, it is based on pure facts only. It is based on pure facts only, because what all things are there in the shop is asked. We cannot write from your own imagination, because already things are mentioned here. Got it? Okay, so that is one. The front of the
Yes,
shop seemed orderly, but at the back it was more chaotic. So in the red box, it is clearly mentioned after reading out what all the layout, the size and shape of the shop, and also the furniture in that shop. After reading out the whole thing, you have to visualize the things. Then present it in your own words in that red box what is given. Understood? Okay. And next question is also what is meant by a following expression. That also, so that is why always I used to tell you read a lot. If you read a lot only, your vocabulary will improve, then only you can present the things right. Okay? And so this is how the questions will be there in your comprehension passage. Okay? So what you have to do is that go through this sample comprehension passage, page number 103, read the passage and try to, without looking into the answers which are given, try to answer it by your own, then cross-check with these answers.
Yes.
Will you do that? Okay. So in this way
Yes,
only
ma'am.
you will get practice. Understood? Okay. So this is how, don't ever try to write the meanings and the answers exactly from what is given in the passage. You have to present it in your own way. That is very important. Understood? Okay. And tense also you have to keep in mind when you are presenting it. So all these things you have to be very careful when you are attending the exam. Okay. So this exam,
So
you will
for
have
all
a
of it,
comprehension passage like this. So
I
please,
think we
you have to read the
finished our
comprehension
discussion
passage
on
minimum 2 times.
trigonometric functions.
Minimum.
Right.
Okay.
So,
Or 3 times,
what
go
is
through
a
the question,
trigonometric
again come
function?
back and try.